Hello, a very warm welcome to all the viewers of Mike Hale and One India. I'm your host today, Kankan Mahanta, and today we have with us one of the stalwarts of shooting in India, a former world number one in the 50-meter three positions rifle, a former world number two in 10-meter rifle, two times silver medalist at the World Championship, gold medalist at the Commonwealth Games, multiple times medalist at the Commonwealth Games shooting championships, and also recently she represented India at the Paris Olympics. Thank you so much for coming in, Anjum Moudgil. Thank you so much. Such an honor and privilege to have you with us.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to, interact with you. Thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah. I mean, the Paris Olympics is still kind of fresh in our memory still, and you have been part of a contingent which again, made us proud in terms of winning medal. So how had been your experience overall? Because stakes were very high, because we expected medals as usual from the shooting team. And how was it overall experience? The pressure, the joy of representing the country again. In fact, this is your second Olympics. So just take us through your journey.
Surely, Paris Olympics was very different if I compare it with Tokyo because qualifying for Tokyo took me like I qualified for Tokyo 3 years prior to the game, and then the games were postponed. So there was a lot of ifs and buts going into Tokyo Olympics, and also there was so many different COVID tests done. You never know, you come out positive and you miss out on your game. So there was a lot of uncertainty, but going into Paris was I would say a dream after Tokyo. And I still remember, as soon as I came back from Tokyo, all I wanted was to be there in Paris. I think the next time I'll be thinking about winning in the next game. This time I was just wanted to go to Paris.
Sure, you will. Yeah.
Did not have that winning in mind unless it changed later. But yeah, Paris was fun. It was a very different games for shooting because we were not staying in the games village. We were 3 hours away from the main city, and but I would say if I see shooting performance, there was a lot of, I would say, good pressure on shooting sport because last two Olympics we did not win any medal, and and also the media is covering shooting now so well. So you always want to prove everyone that okay, our sport is something that does good in all the other competitions, but in shooting in the Olympics can also do well. And I'm so happy that three of our shooters won medals, and it was just like a relief for us, especially for the shooters who were there in Tokyo, because once we came back, it was consecutively second Olympics of not winning medals, and there was a lot of backlash, a lot of negative comments happening through media from people around and different places. But I think that's why it took many of the shooters who were there in Tokyo really couldn't recover from that phase. And but I was happy that a couple of us were there in Paris, and one of us who was there in Tokyo and Paris won the medal. So yeah, I'm really glad that shooting won the maximum medals in Paris Olympics, and I'm part of such an amazing sport. And I'll continue to work harder to, bring laurels to the country.
Sure, you will. Why not? Yeah. So now that this happened to be your second Olympics after Tokyo, so I guess the nerves kind of settled down a little bit because Tokyo was the first experience, COVID time, So I think by now you're kind of more experienced in terms of handling pressure because Olympics is no smaller environment, right?
Yes, of course. I just, as a beginner, I was always excited to know how, the players who are preparing for Olympics, how do they, control their nerves? How do they feel one night prior to the event? How do they sleep? But once I was in Tokyo, I was very excited to experience the same, the question that I had for many years. But I was so happy to have a good sleep because I knew that, everything that is required, I have done that. And there's nothing new I should do now. Just follow my routine. And I was able to have a good sleep and do, uh, a good preparation in terms of my match. And Yeah, and same in Paris. I think I had set a routine. I was practicing that, and I was very happy that mentally and physically I was so much in control. There was no high pressure. Even if there was a bit of high heartbeat, the pulse was higher. I knew how to get it down through different exercises I had been doing from last couple of years. So I was very much prepared, and I was very happy I could see myself there, being very calm at an Olympic event, shooting my best. And also, in between I lost couple of points in my match in prone position, but then getting back stronger and finishing the match. So I think it was like a roller coaster, starting well, going down, ending well. But I think, yeah, handling pressure, I tested myself during the Olympic trials that happened in India. That was one of the most difficult events, I would say, for me to actually make it to the Olympic team, because I did not win the quota and I was not really doing well last year. So getting back there was a task, and I was extremely happy to be part of the team by, doing good in the selection trials. So I tested myself in those trials rather than in the Olympics.
True, true, sure. Now, talking about nerves, I mean, unlike sports like tennis or volleyball, we see athletes fist thumping, chest thumping and fist pumping, sorry, and in between winning points. But I guess shooting is a totally different ball game, right? I mean, between rounds, you just can't be doing that, even though your adrenaline might be on a high. So I think it's a totally different ball game when it comes to shooting and archery, when it comes to calming your nerves throughout the match, no matter how good you are doing, right? And how do we approach the
Yes,
end?
of course.
Yes,
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've learned through shooting sport is having control on my mind and body. I think no other thing in the world really teaches you that unless you play a sport or something that you do with your body. So I'm really glad I am in this field where I've have that control on my emotions. And particularly in shooting, I think we are so calm and patient most of the time when we are shooting that we really can't show our emotions outside. Even if you're very aggressive, you are not liking something, you're just hating it, or you're just not loving the way you shoot, you have to be very calm. And if you're really excited, you're shooting amazing, and then you are so happy that everything is going there, again, you have to be
again, here we
really,
come.
really, really calm. So I think it's all, and I think that is the reason why people consider shooting a little bit boring, because there's no expression on our faces, and that has become a habit that even when we are in normal life, our face looks like a very straight face, and people are really scared of us. But at the same time, I think it's such an amazing sport that challenges you mentally so much that in life, it has really helped me to handle my emotions.
True, true. Very interesting point that you made because you all practice so much and day in and day out, and with that kind of demeanor that you have, that you need to have, the exterior self or whatever, trying to calm your nerves throughout. So, meaning which when you are 60 to 70% of your time like that, so obviously that becomes like a habit as a process, even in your real life, right? I mean, so I guess shooters in real life by nature are cool and calm people.
Not mostly,
Oh,
but
okay.
some of us are. Some are very outgoing and happy, but I mean, while shooting, they can really have good control.
Mhm.
But it's not something that is really mandatory to start shooting. It's something that can really help you if you already have, if you're already a calmer person, it might just help you a bit more. But if you have that good control, even if you're outgoing and extrovert and, not that calm, you can always do that while playing. So that's not the, I mean,
Yeah,
basics
that's
that are
the basic
required.
criteria. True, true.
Yeah.
Talking about now, of course, skill and the mental aspect matters so much in shooting, but I guess the physical aspect is also so much underrated for the typical audience who do not know that there are a lot of injuries that happen in shooting, right? Because day in and
Yeah.
day out, when you have to, shoot from a rifle that is as heavy as a rifle, and that too over so many rounds and practices, trainings. So I guess there are a lot of back pain, shoulder, issues, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So in that case, I think shooters also go to a lot of strength and conditioning, which a lot of us may not know as to what goes behind into making a shooter. It's not only about the skill and the mental aspect, but also, I guess, a lot to do with physical aspect also, right?
Yes, of course. I mean, when I started, there was this, a myth around that you should not really train in the gym or
Oh,
pick weights
yeah.
because it will, your muscles will be bulky and then you might not have that good stability and all. But for many years, some of us believed it. But, once I had an injury in my shoulder where I was not really able to lift my arm, and also a lower back injury because we are in a posture standing for a long time where it really hurts if you do not strengthen your back. And we have in our prone position, there is a lot of pressure on the shoulder, and we have to train for a couple of hours. So it's like keeping one muscle under pressure for a long time. So it really breaks it down. And if you are weak, if your muscles are weak, you might injure yourself. So when I got an injury back in 2013, that's when I actually started working on my physical health through TheraBands. So someone suggested to get a surgery, but I was like, no, let me just work on myself. And I was young, I was very young. So I just started out working with the athletes in Chandigarh with athletic coach. So I used to, be there in the grounds at 4 a.m. and do sprinting and a lot of running and then a lot of TheraBand exercises for strengthening and a lot of tennis. And I think that really helped me to strengthen my muscles. And that's where my fitness journey started. And I have made sure that I continue doing it. And then now we have seen a drastic change through help of, many physical trainers who are there with the team, and also many seniors who have really understood how important gym and, this training, physical training is, be it in the gym or outdoors. So now I think they're mostly around 90% shooters do train for many hours for physical training based on stability, balancing, and endurance, where we have to stand for a long time, and then each and every muscles needs to be strengthened. So yeah, we have to really break it down to minute muscles and work on them.
Oh my God, shooting has evolved so much, right, over the years.
Yes, it surely has.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now, talking about Indian shooters, it's kind of legendary. I mean, right from Gagan Narang to Avinav Bindra to Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore and Vijay Kumar and to now Manu Bakar and you all. I mean, the list will go on. I'm so sorry, I've missed out so many of them. Uh,
No.
Yes. So, what is that one thing that really clicked, at some point of time that really made India what we are today in terms of shooting? Because whenever there is Olympics, whenever there are Asian Games, shooting is the first discipline that, okay, we look forward to, okay, shooters to hey, that kind of a mindset that we have. So, what do you think that really worked well for us all of a sudden, that we are currently in this such a healthy position?
I think firstly Rajyavardhan Singh sir's medal, but Abhinav Bhaiya's gold medal really changed the face of shooting. Everyone knew what shooting was. Everyone knew who Abhinav Bindra was. So I think because of him, we were really able to make people like tell people that okay, this is the sport we play. Because shuru mein, when I started way back in 2007, 2008, many people didn't know what shooting was. They thought we were going for a camera shooting or something like that. But telling people that we are going for the same sport what Abhinav Bindra plays, I think it made us so easy for us. But I think that is one milestone for the Indian shooting that changed the face of the shooting sport in India. And after that, I think medals by Gagan Bhaiya, Vijay Kumar, and all these medals have really changed the way people look to the shooters in the Olympics. And obviously, we could get good recognition in the Commonwealth Games and the Asian Games. So that is something that is always there because people, I don't know, but in India, people consider those games much more than the Indian, like the World
Yeah.
Shooting Championship. because for us, the world championships are much more important. But I think for some sports, India just considers only the Asian Games, Commonwealth, and the
Yeah,
Olympics as the
yeah, yeah.
most
But
important
shooting is
events.
totally different. Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah.
So I think
Yes.
Vinay medal was a changing point for Indian shooting. And now, after Tokyo, everyone was talking about shooting and all that, the people are winning in all the other competitions, but the shooters are not winning in Olympics. So it was a different story. But all thanks to Manu, Sarabjot, and Swapnil for changing that script. And now there is a very positive uh, noise around the shooting fraternity and people who want to start the sport.
Great. Sure. And I mean, you also have been associated with the Go Sports Foundation quite a long time. Sorry, I also missed out a little bit in this, just in connection to what you said about shooting. So I guess a lot of us would have started our first shooting with NCC, right? Which I guess is a little bit underrated at times because school mein to kya hai, it's during NCC times that a lot of people would have held their first rifle, right? So I think those kind of grassroots things would also have helped shooting over a long period of time. Things like NCC and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Does it
earlier,
make sense?
only the forces had the weapons and ammunition
Yeah,
because no one else had that,
it being so costly.
that
Yeah.
money to
Mm.
get that money to import the weapons.
Mm.
So NCC has really helped me. I mean, I think I'm here just because of NCC
Oh,
because
you did. Acha.
my mother introduced me to shooting just because she was part of shooting sport through NCC. So I think that is the reason I'm here today. And also my coach Dipali Deshpande, she was an NCC cadet. Anjali Bhagwat Didi was an NCC cadet. Suma Shirur. I think all of them have really come up because of NCC, and I can't really think about anyone else from that time who has started on their own. So NCC has played a major role in the people who are there in this sport today. And also the forces have really helped, way back in couple of years there were only the forces who were doing great because they had funds to purchase the weapons and ammunition. So only because of these forces and NCC, paramilitary forces as well, CISF, BSF, they also have a couple of teams. So I think it was only them, but now because shooting has been now vastly spread across different cities and villages in India,
Yeah.
that each and every village in, at least in Haryana, UP, and many other places, everyone can go to a shooting range just like a
Wow.
10 minutes or and half an hour drive.
Mhm.
So I think it's the change we have seen. And yeah, so now I would say people can really do shooting without the help of the forces. But if I see it like 8 years ago, it was very difficult to start on your own.
That's great news that
Yeah.
shooting has become so very accessible even to a general mass in general because that really creates an ecosystem, right? It's not only about winning medals, but creating an ecosystem in itself is what is so important in creating the champions in the long run, right? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Now, down the line, of course, I think Go Sports Foundation also helped you a lot in your career, and so can you tell us a little bit about your association with Go Sports as how it really helped you in nurturing your career in the long run?
Yeah, I was selected in Go Sports, I think way back in 2013, 14, or I think 12, 13. And that was when I was still a junior and not really, I didn't really win too many medals at the international level, but I was somewhere there at the top. And they just selected me, and I've been with them, and that they were the reasons I was able to buy my own weapons, because earlier for 5 to 6 years with the NCC I was only shooting with the weapon that was shared among like 5 to 6 shooters. One kit was shared among three
Oh,
four shooters, so I was just using that and doing well, and then also playing some internationals. But only because of Ghost Force, I was actually able to buy my own weapon, because it's really required when you want to do better and go into that precision. So and I can never be thankful enough to Ghost Sports, because they are with me since then, and now still they are with me. And there has been so many ups and lows, and I cannot imagine anyone helping us through the lows as much. There's so many people around when you're doing good, but very few are
Yes.
there to
Yeah,
support you when you're not doing good. And
absolutely.
I think apart from Go Sports, there's no other federation I can think who can, or a foundation I can think who are always there through your lows. Even the low, if it's for 1 or 2 years, they're still there. So I think I'm just so I feel so proud to be part of their family, and it's been around 12 years now. I just boost about it that I'm part of the Go Sports family, and all the equipment, travel, expenditure, everything is done through them. Yeah.
Wow, that's a great association. Yeah. Right. So now you actually got two disciplines mostly, 50-meter three positions and 10-meter rifle both. So how do you
Yeah.
do actually manage both the things? Because this time you of course represented in terms of 50-meter rifle. Before that you were also very much part of the 10-meter rifle. So how do you actually decide as to more in decision? How is that you divide your time between these two disciplines? Because these two disciplines are totally different. Because one is 50-meter position where you got three different positions, right? Prone, knee, and then the standing. So, how do you actually divide your time between these two in a typical scenario wherein you have to train for both?
Yeah. So now I would say I'm sort of took a break from air rifle when I
Mhm.
was selected for three position in the Olympics. But in Tokyo, I was playing both events, and even after that, for a couple of competitions, I qualified for Tokyo through air rifle. But I was in the main team in three positions, so that has been always there. One event has always helped me in the other. The stability we need in air rifle really helps me in three positions standing, and the patience that is needed in one helps me in the other. So I think it's just like they complement each other, and then it just when you are in your training period, you just know how to manage and balance the time. And either you train for one event in the evening or divide your morning training sessions for both the events. So I think it just goes hand in hand, but you should know what you want, and it's very much manageable, and it's always good to do both, because sometimes if you're just too tired of any one event, you always have something else to look forward to. And I always believe that there should not be only one thing that you're doing, which always you should have something
Great.
extra and
Yes.
fun, so that you, whenever you get back to your main event, you have something new when you go back. So yeah.
Rightly said. Yeah. Wow, what a journey. So, Anjum, can we have a few rapid fire rounds now? Yes.
Sure.
So a lot of people do not know that you are actually a great artist too. I mean, in fact, you take your painting very seriously, right? Yeah. So who is your favorite painter? There were so many to choose between. Um, uh,
I, I
among them.
there's, yeah, I mean, I have always admired art, even if it is not any famous artist.
Mhm.
And so in Chandigarh, there were my friend's father, Rajendra Sharma, sir. He was a professor in art college in Chandigarh, and he used to come to our school to take some classes for art. And that's when I really admired that how with just one pencil, or how with just one color, he would make so many different shades and draw something. And I really fell in love with art even more. So I think I've really admired him. And also, there have been so many great artists worldwide, but there's no one in particular. But I think I just overall enjoy the experience of painting, and then experience of when people like my paintings. So I think it's just out of my calmness and my curiosity to paint something. It just I enjoy it more rather than the artists.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, I mean just
Oh, it was a rapid fire. Sorry.
no, 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 it's okay. You explained
Became
nicely.
paragraph.
No,
Yeah.
corroborating to what you said, shooters are generally so intellectuals. I mean, apart from shooting, for example, we've got Manu Bakar, who reads a lot of books. I think who also plays the violin, right? If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, she plays it, right? Yeah. Likewise, you've got somebody like Avinav Bindra, whom I can listen throughout. He talks so much sense. He just
Yeah.
calmly, talks through. Of course, Rajyavan Vardhan Singh Rathore, he has really revolutionized, Indian sports ecosystem when he was a sports minister, so to say. He was also kind of an intellect, sort of, the way he used to be present before the media and stuff like that. And then you being a painter. No, it's really great. I mean, it's not only about what you're doing, as a profession, but as a backup, that really shows the depth that shooters have in general, apart from shooting.
Yeah.
That's really great. Yeah. So tomorrow, if you have to wake up and God, it's a hypothetical situation, tells you that, okay, you have got two options. Either you can paint a painting just like Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, or maybe, or also the other option is that win a gold medal at the Olympics. Which one will you choose?
Obviously, winning a gold medal at the Olympics. I can
Okay.
still paint. After winning the medal, I can paint, but first I'll need a medal.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. True, true. Of course, like we already discussed, we have had so many legends in shooting. Which one shooter you think really revolutionized the entire ecosystem of shooting here in India? I mean, we've got so many. I mean, it'll go on and on.
I mean, but I think if you talk about the biggest change, I would say it was Avinav Bhaiya and Gagan Bhaiya both. They are like the biggest names, I would say,
Hmm.
in shooting. Yeah. But I think now for the next couple of decades, now Manu would be there,
Okay,
and some people might not know later about couple of them, but I would say Abhinav Bhaiya and Gagan Bhaiya. Yeah.
great, great. You
Yeah.
being from Chandigarh, Chandigarh is known for food. They're also very lively people, dance and all that. So, what's your favorite food?
Uh, I think anything in street food I really really love. It can be chaat papdi, my go to street food because my family likes it too.
Mm.
So tikki, chaat papdi is good. Uh, छोले भटूरे बड़े स्वाद होते हैं. Yep.
Great, great, great. Thank you so much, Anjum. It is such a fascinating journey that you have explained to us in such a nice manner, and we can only see you shooting yourself into more and more glory, not only for yourself but also for us. We're very selfish enough to ask more from you, and thank you so much for coming in. And we can only wish you all the
Thank
very best, and you'll only get better from here. And looking forward to you and your journey, and we'll be closely, following you again in times to come. You deserve a good rest now, and I'm sure you'll be back, at your best in the coming competitions. And all the best for your future journey. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Anjum. Thanks.
thank you.